One. This is Raymond Dijkstra again from SAR Alba NL, the YouTube channel for Netherlands for Scottish Independence. We're joined tonight by James Scott, founder of the Scottish Resistance. How are you doing, mate?
I'm fine, Raymond. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You're the second interview that we're doing tonight, so keeping busy. For the people that don't know you, and basically it's this is basically directed at to gain more support for Scottish independence in Europe.
Yes.
So yeah, most people in Scotland do know you, but for people that don't know you, could you do a wee introduction and tell us about yourself, about what you do for Scottish independence, stuff like that?
Yes, I certainly can. I'm 64 years of age. I've been self-employed for most of my working life. I find it easier because I don't like working for people. I did at one time work for the Glasgow Herald Evening Times in my early career. Worked there for 6 years. Got to find out that newspapers don't print the truth. They print basically what they are told to print. And most newspapers, as we know, are for the establishment and will not entertain people who are against any establishment things at all. So basically, I very quickly got to learn that you cannot trust what is said in newspapers. You cannot trust what is said on the television. And when it comes to TV, the worst of all is BBC.
Oh, definitely.
BBC is actually the mouthpiece of the British government. It's controlled 100% by the British government. Make no mistake about that. The BBC is the mouthpiece of the British government. And this is the biggest problem that we face in the fight for independence. Because when we try to convince some of our other citizens in Scotland about independence, it's like trying to get through a brick wall. They have been totally indoctrinated since they were small with the British brainwashing system. They've been taught that Scotland's too wee, that we're hopeless in absolutely everything. The Scottish people, or half of the population at least, have very low self-esteem. And this is another thing that we've got to try and overcome. That is why I think the international aspect is one of the most important things regarding Scottish independence. Some of my best friends are from overseas. I have people that I know over in the Texas National Party, the California National Party. I know people in the Catalan groups. I know people from nationalist groups throughout the world. And believe it or not, they all face similar problems that we have here in Scotland, in that there's so much infighting between groups. They're all trying to get the same cause, but everybody thinks they know the right way. I don't know 100% the right way. I just do what I can. I try to get the history out. I try to get all the information that I learn out to as many people as possible. Nobody's got the 100% solution. If people would work together instead of fighting and attacking each other, we would go on a lot better in the road to not only Scottish independence, but Catalan independence as well.
Definitely. And I've said this before at events, on shows and everything, and it just amazes me how people rather say, well, I don't like so and so, I want to share a platform with so and so, but we're all fighting for Scottish independence, but I don't want to share with a platform with so and so. Why can they not wait and hold off on the egos, hold off on their dislike for anybody till Scottish independence has been achieved, and then go off on each other for a like her? That's your prerogative. You don't have to like everybody, but we do need to get along just so we can get Scottish independence.
Absolutely, Raymond. That's true. Absolutely.
Well, you mentioned the people that you know all around the world, basically. well, we know each other. I'm
Yeah,
not really all around, on the other side of the world, but um, we like this channel wants to enlarge and enhance the support for Scottish independence
yeah.
from an international point of view. How important do you think the international support for Scottish independence is?
I've come to believe, Raymond, that the most important factor in the Scottish independence fight is the international aspect. Scotland has a history where our people were forcibly moved from the land. Well, most people in Scotland have heard of the Highland clearances, but they also cleared out great parts of the lowlands as well. Lots of great Scottish patriots were cleared out of Scotland. We should have a much bigger population than we actually do have in
Oh yeah,
Scotland. Landmass wise, we're not that much smaller than England. The BBC, when they show you a picture of so-called Britain, they tilt the map so that Scotland looks smaller. They actually tilt the map over. Everything is psychological with the BBC. When you actually put the map straight up, the size of the whole area of Scotland plus the islands, plus the Scottish islands, that landmass is not far short of the landmass that is England. Because when you
no,
take in the landmass of England, part of that is Wales. And a lot of Welsh people, as far as I'm concerned, they reckon they are a separate country from England. There's even people in Cornwall, who say that they are Cornish nationalists and they are not English. They are adamant about that. So when you take in the landmass of England, it's not that much bigger than Scotland. Not really. Yet they've got about 10 times more population.
yeah.
They
Well,
didn't have anybody kicking about their country, you see.
sorry?
They didn't have anybody kicking about their country.
No, no,
No,
no.
it,
Well,
it's been absolute genocide against the Scots, in truth, Raymond. I was explaining at the rally I was at on Saturday that I actually was a host of, the Robert Bruce
mhm.
rally. And even though I do mention this at a number of rallies when I'm talking to Robert Bruce, his brothers Thomas and Alexander Bruce were only 20 and 21 when they were hung, drawn, and quartered. His other brother Nigel Bruce was hung, drawn, and quartered. The brother of William Wallace, John Wallace, was hung, drawn, and quartered. And thousands, absolutely thousands of Scots were hung, drawn, and quartered, as well as all the ones that were just murdered and when they attacked city after city, town after town in Scotland. It's been absolute genocide against the Scottish people. And
Yeah.
when they got, and this is important, when they got control of Scotland through trickery in the 1707 Union, they managed to persuade Scots to join the British Army. And what happened then was they were always frontline troops in all their imperial wars. In other words, they were cannon fodder for the British establishment. And it's absolutely heartbreaking when you read through British imperial history at the amount of Scots that have been slaughtered in battlefields, whether it be in America when the Brits were trying to hold on to America, or whether it be at Waterloo, entire regiments wiped out at Waterloo. It's incredible the death toll of Scots as cannon fodder used by the British establishment.
Definitely. Well, you mentioned a lot of historical facts, and that's one thing that we are both interested in. You have a really good knowledge of Scottish history, but why do you think that not a lot of people know about this? I mean, I know that it doesn't get taught at schools, but I guess that's another thing that people get not taught about their own history. So basically, history will continue to repeat itself. How do you see that?
Well, I tell you what it is, Rim. I've studied, as you know, it's not just Scottish history I look into. I look into world history and colonisation, imperialism, and all the rest of
Mhm.
it. And there's one fact that is absolutely 100%. Any country, any country that rules another country, they try to stop them learning about their history, to try and learn about their culture. They try and put them off. And this is what it's all about. Even recently in Australia, they're trying to stop Aborigines finding out about their history because it was absolutely horrific. And once again, I must say it was the British again. The slaughter of Aborigines by the British was absolutely unbelievable. As all they've done in any country that they have invaded is kill, 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 and steal, steal, steal.
Exactly. And still people think why Scotland wants out of the UK. I mean, why should you want to be part of that with that kind of history? It's beyond me. And that's me saying with the Dutch having the colonial history that they have.
Yeah.
But I mean, how can you close your mind to that? And the thing is, people just don't get taught about it.
They don't.
And that's what both of us basically say always is that people open your mind, investigate, and right.
Find out about it. That's what to do, Raymond. They ought to go and find out about it.
But get knowledgeable.
Some of them have closed minds, Raymond. It's a waste of time trying to deal with the ones with closed minds. They just don't want to listen. They don't want to know what has happened in history. As far as they're concerned, quite happy with a lot. Even though when you try to explain to them under this imperialist system, they've got the lowest pension in the modern world in Europe. Still nothing seems to get through to them. I asked them to look at the Arab countries that have got oil and the fancy buildings they have. I asked them to look at the fancy buildings in London paid for by Scottish Oil. I asked them to look at the streets of Glasgow, the people in the streets, homeless, starving people.
Yeah.
They just can't work it out. I just don't understand why they can't work it out.
Exactly. Totally agree. Well, you mentioned the feeding the homeless and all the homeless that are in Scotland. That's one of the things that the Scottish Resistance do is to feed the homeless.
Yeah.
For people that are watching that don't know about the Scottish Resistance, could you tell me how the Scottish Resistance came about and tell people about all the stuff that you do or that we do because I'm a member?
Yeah. Okay. Well, personally, to tell the truth, I've been with the SNP since way back in 1973. I've got membership cards for 1973, 74, and I was with the SNP right up to about 2015. When just before that, though, at the referendum. Before it even happened, I suspected there was something deadly wrong with that. I really had the opinion they were going to rig it. So the Scottish Resistance was actually started in September 2014, before the referendum so-called result was even known. And as we know, they say it was 45%. Now, 45 means a lot to people in Scotland. It's to do with the 45 rebellion, when the British establishment finally thought they had totally crushed the Scots forever and a day. The 45 rebellion. That is why they rigged that referendum to be 45%. It's in the psychology of the Scots. 45. They made it 45 deliberately. And I am absolutely 100% definite about that. And although you get these people approaching me and saying, don't say they rigged it, that's not nice. It's too freaking bad. That's my opinion. They rigged it to be 45%. I'm entitled to my opinion on it. If they want to believe that a vote's going to get them independence, that's up to them. I don't think a vote will ever get them independence. A vote will never get Scotland independence. When you look at the history, and I've done it, of every country that's won independence, you don't get it by a vote. You get it by actions. When you look at Gandhi, he done a lot of actions against the establishment, and I'm trying to be careful here what I say, because the actions that Gandhi did were non-violent, passive resistance. And this is the key to winning independence. We must have demonstrations, we must have activism, but we must never ever be violent. Do not get violent. We will lose the argument if we start being violent.
Exactly.
But that's not to say we can't go out and let these people know that we are totally disgusted with the way that they have treated Scotland.
Well, yeah, definitely.
I've been down to Westminster many times.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
The system in front of Westminster, and I've let them know what I feel about them, how that they have robbed our country, Scotland, of its wealth and resources. And obviously, I get into conversation with people. Some people agree, some people disagree, as you will get anywhere. But I keep going.
Yeah, that's their prerogative. If they engage in good conversation, then they are entitled to their opinion. But you always every now and then you also get people just bashing you for your opinion.
Yeah.
Being it online or in your face. I mean,
absolutely.
And that's just plain sad. I mean, I don't bash you for your opinion, then don't do it with mine.
Yeah.
If you engage in good conversation, you can disagree with me all you like. But it's just sad how and even within the Yes movement, it's just sad that people just attack one another online because it's so easy.
Absolutely, that's true. Absolutely.
But about the Scottish resistance, you said how the Scottish resistance came about. But tell us about all the stuff like you say the protests. What kind of protests does Scottish resistance do about and stuff like feeding the homeless?
Well, we've already covered feeding the homeless. That's something that we do regularly. We go out and feed the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
We get involved in protests, anti-war protests. We've been outside Raytheon, the factory in the east coast of Scotland that manufactures bombs, which are used against the people of Syria. And what's going on in Syria is absolutely disgusting. The carnage, the death of all these children, it's just ridiculous. It's man's inhumanity to man, as Robert Dunn says. Man's inhumanity to man. How they're blowing these people up. The other day there I saw something on Facebook. It showed you all these countries like Libya and Syria and Iraq before the Americans invaded them.
I know what you mean.
What lovely places they were until the Americans turned each of these places into a burning cinder.
Yeah.
They have a lot to answer for, the Americans. They really do. I mean, they started off as of the land of the free. Now they're the worst imperialists in the world. They're taking over from the Brits in that respect. The Brits were the worst imperialists in the world, but now the Americans have taken over.
Yeah.
And everywhere they're going, it's just robbing other nations. In Afghanistan, everybody's going, but there's no oil in Afghanistan. But there's drugs. The drugs have increased tenfold.
Yeah.
Tenfold since the Americans moved into Afghanistan. The amount of cocaine they're getting out of Afghanistan is unbelievable, believe me.
Yeah.
Where is it all going? Where is it all going?
I mean, you would never see, like for instance, America invade Belgium because Saddam Hussein was the ruler of Belgium.
Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. That's it. They're after all these Arab countries to completely get control of their oil. And for the country, Arabian country that both America and the Brits are hand in hand with, is one of the worst regimes in the world, Saudi Arabia. They have people beheaded in it daily. I mean, it's just unbelievable that they should be in bed with these people. These people are horrific in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about the government now. I'm not talking about the ordinary citizens who are under the heel of the rulers.
Definitely. Well, James, I want to thank you for the interview.
Okay.
We'll talk again soon. And people, very soon we're going to have more interviews. If you have questions, let us know. If you have questions about the Scottish Resistance and the work that they do, please contact us and we'll get you in touch with people within the Scottish Resistance. And if you want to help out, same thing.
That's fine.
Have a good night, everyone, and see you soon.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.